Next, only on Fox tonight, the mother of a 34-year-old woman beaten to death allegedly by her husband says she knew that day would arrive.
Fox 26's Randy Wallace reports from the Harris County Jail in downtown.
36-year-old Myron Strambler remains jailed in lieu of a $250,000 bond, accused of killing his wife. Her relatives hope he will be denied bond when he returns to court on Monday.
I knew that guy would kill my daughter. And he got her.
Michelle Heat says her daughter Alicia was like a lot of domestic violence victims, afraid to leave and manipulated to stay.
When your daughter calls you up from a stranger's phone that she's hiding in bushes with no shoes on her feet to get away from him, when your daughter calls you from a hospital and you hear a police officer asking her, what object did he use to do this to you? And she said his fist.
Police say Myron Strambler, a registered sex offender, beat Alicia to death Wednesday night at the Moonlight Inn at 5212 Airline. He was reportedly covered in blood when officers arrived.
She had started writing a book, was to help other women in this world not to go through this. If anybody can learn from my daughter's death, that's my point. I feel sorry for his mother because we both lost.
Alicia leaves behind a young son and daughter.
He's come at me before, so yes, I'm scared if he got out, he'd come and kill me or have somebody do it for him.
At 6 p.m. Saturday, a vigil will be held for Alicia in front of the motel where she died. Randy Wallace, Fox 26 News.
All right, everybody, what's going on? So you saw the news report. Unfortunately, this young lady lost her life at the hands of a very awful man who just happened to be her husband. Condolences to her family. This is an awful thing. It should have never happened. Here's the deal. This is why I often tell you guys, the only way you can help people, especially women, is with sound instruction. I don't know this girl's backstory. They didn't give it all that much. I don't necessarily know her family makeup. The mother did the bulk of the talking in the interview. The man who was with the mom, I don't know if that is the biological father of that girl. He didn't do any talking. I would assume that if that was his actual daughter, he would have a whole lot more to say about his daughter getting deleted by a deranged individual. I don't want to speculate too much there. Maybe that's the stepdad, maybe not. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the background of this girl. We don't know. Here's the deal. What we do know is that this girl was around 30. She was 34 when she passed away, when she died, and she had kids. They showed the kids. Those kids looked like they were maybe 8 or 9. No older than 10. It looks like. So that means she would have been around 23, 24, I guess, when she started having those kids, which would mean she probably bumped into the guy, the husband, even before that. They were probably dealing with each other even before that. So she ran into this guy fairly early on in life. This is why I always say sound instruction is the only way to protect women. It's the only way to protect anyone, right? I don't know what her parents taught her coming up, right? I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, my family would talk horrible about low-class people, not poor people, not white people, not black people, not Mexican people, poor people who make poor decisions, poor life choices, people who are poor in terms of moral character. My family was notorious for just like dogging low-class people. Because low-class people make low-class decisions and they end up having low-class problems that always follow them and become an issue for other people. This sounds like low-class behavior unto itself, but it actually serves as a buffer for the kids in the family at the time. Obviously, in any family, you're going to have the adults and then you're going to have the kids. For all the kids, we knew a couple things really well. One, if you get locked up, we will see you when you get out. Nobody in my family tolerated jailbirds. If you are in and out of jail, we're not dealing with you. Don't call, don't write, don't ask for nothing, because we know. The answer was always no. We'll see you when you get out. If you are a person who's on drugs, we love you, but do your drugs over there. Don't talk to me if you are not sober. Don't come around here high. Don't come around here tweaking and all of that. If you have junkyard friends, don't bring them around here. Don't bring your junkyard friends around here, because we don't want that. If any people ever came around our family who were of low class, we didn't treat them poorly. But when that person left, oh, we dogged them. They got dogged. And what that does is it sets the tone for the kids to understand what's good behavior, what's not good behavior. And it sets the tone to make the kids understand if you find yourself dabbling in that behavior, it's not going to be well received by your family. We're not going to, welcome those people with open arms, and we're not going to be very warm and inviting to those people. And we're certainly going to let you know what we think when those people are out of earshot, right? We ain't going to cause an issue right then and there, but you're going to know that we don't approve. So what that does is it tells the kids, stay away from people like that unless you want to be cut off from your family. I say that because, like I said, I don't know what kind of upbringing she had, but it wasn't enough to dissuade her from dating this individual. Think about what was said about this person. This man was a registered sex offender. I don't know when he caught that charge. I don't know if he caught it like Conor McGregor. Like Conor McGregor got rich and then he started acting stupid and then he caught like a sex assault charge. I don't know when this person caught this charge. I would assume that they caught it early on enough to where the girl would have known, right? But I don't know. If this woman chose this man knowing he had a intimate violence charge on his record, that just shows that she had awful character judgment. She was a terrible judge of character, and her life decisions were just bad. Right? You don't choose that kind of person. You don't choose that kind of person as your husband and the father of your children, right? Like I said, I don't know when he caught that charge. I'm just going to assume that he caught it early on and that she chose that. If that's not the case, then that's a whole other thing. That would mean that they got together and then sometime down the line, he ended up catching that charge and then she stayed with him despite that, which is another bad choice. That's another bad character choice. At any rate, you have to understand you can't save a person from themselves. You have to give your kids sound instructions from the sandbox on up, and then you release them into the wild. This girl, I don't know what kind of instructions she got, but it led her to make this decision. And the woman even said that she knew this man was going to end up deleting her daughter at some point. That means that this woman has been experiencing her daughter go round and round and round with this guy. And she could never tear her daughter away from this person. Now, I understand that the newscast said that the girl was manipulated and all of this and all of that, and she was afraid to leave. And like I said, I don't know the living situation. The mother actually said that the guy came at her at one point in time. So I'm going to assume that they all live in some sort of vicinity. I don't necessarily know why that daughter couldn't just leave that man, especially if he's beating on you to the point where you're in the hospital looking like a UFC fighter, right? That girl's face was all split open. She looked like John Jones was giving her some elbows, and the cops are asking you what weapon did this person use to do this, and you say it was his fist. How could you not get away at that point? Like, did you not press the charges? Like, you could, at that point, the police were supposed to lock him up regardless. But I don't know, the domestic violence laws in every state. If she doesn't press charges, right? I don't know. But at some point in time, that girl, you can't convince me that that girl did not have a way out. You can't convince me of that. This woman said she knew the man was going to do this eventually. That is a statement that is made in defeat. When you resign yourself to the worst possible outcome, that means you've tried and you've tried and you've tried. That mother tried to get her daughter away from that guy. I know she did. That's why she said that. She says, I knew he was going to do this. She was defeated. You can't save a person from themselves. If that girl is not going to have a sense of self-preservation to leave that man who's beating on her, who has an intimate violence charge on his record already, who's a clear threat to those kids, because if he's doing all that, I would assume he's a threat to the kids. It didn't say that he was a threat to the kids. Like it didn't say in the news report that he did anything to the kids. But if you're willing to delete the mother of your kids, I don't see why you wouldn't be in some way, shape, or form already hurting your kids. It's going to be hard for you to convince me that this girl had no way out. Like you couldn't move in with your mom when you got sent to the hospital on one occasion, two occasions, however many occasions. You didn't decide that was a time for me to maybe go to a battered woman shelter and then go back home with the kids. You can't convince me that she had no means of getting this man out of her life, right? You just can't convince me. Not when that level of violence is taking place. So it sounds like it was a very toxic relationship. This woman kept choosing this. She kept choosing to go back to this person. I understand he was putting hands on her and, he may have threatened the kids. She was afraid to leave. No, I don't know what he had access to. I don't know how far she may have lived from like her mother or whomever could have taken her and those kids in. Right. So I will give her the benefit of the doubt on that. But at the same time, we know these kinds of relationships. We've seen them either in our own life or we've seen them in news stories and stuff like that. A lot of this is the woman choosing to walk into hell every day. You choose this toxic person every day. You choose not to leave. You choose not to press the charges that are going to get this guy locked up and removed out of your life. I don't want to say that drugs were involved because I don't know that it wasn't said in the news report, but that's often a possibility where these couples are on drugs and, junkies, man, they have some of the most toxic relationships you'll ever see. Like if you are a police officer, if you know anybody who is a police officer, ask them about junkie couples. Not saying that she and that man were a junkie, not saying that drugs were even involved. I'm just going to assume that maybe drugs were involved. I don't know. The only thing I know is when it comes to a situation like this, you can't save your own child from their own bad decisions. When they choose that, you are powerless. And I often tell you on this channel, don't try to save women. And this is one of the very unfortunate reasons why. Think about the logistics of trying to save this woman. You got a husband who is a registered sex offender. You have a husband who has beaten this woman bloody and split her face open on at least one occasion. You got a husband who was, chased this woman, beat on her, had her hiding in the bushes with no shoes on. You have a husband who at some point in time attacked the mom, right? You have a husband who is a deranged lunatic. So if you were the brother, the male cousin, or even just a neighbor, a bystander, and you got involved, 100% this man is going to turn violent on you in an instant, right? So this is why I say that. This is why I always say, you can't save people from their decisions. You can't save women from these bad situations because a lot of times they've entrenched themselves. Like I said, they had kids that looked to be maybe at max 10, maybe around 8 or 9, something like that. How do you save that person? Like that's a sticky situation. Once kids are involved, you got to understand that man is if he's not hurting the kids, that means that there's some level of love that he has for those kids. But if you try to take his kids away, what do you think he's going to do? Right? You don't want to get in the middle of that, because 100% he's going to, if he's willing to do that to his wife, he's going to definitely do it to you. So, like I said, I don't want you guys to, grow cold when it comes to helping your loved ones. But just understand, you can't save nobody from themselves. If they're gonna choose that, unfortunately, just like that woman kind of understood that this guy was going to end up taking her daughter out, you guys have to leave people, to the consequences of their actions and their choices, right? Teach your children, if you are a man and you have female cousins, if you got a younger sister, if you have any young people in your life, teach them against, deplorable behavior. Teach them against low-class behavior. You can't teach your kids against black or against white or against Asian or against gays you can't teach them against that in terms of that person. You can't say, well, black people are bad, Asians are bad, this person is bad, gays are bad. You can't just say that as a blanket statement. You have to demonize the behavior, because if you simply say X person is bad, X kind of people are bad, they're going to be going to school and they're going to be interacting with people of that kind, of that, particular kind. And they're going to see, well, this person isn't like that. And I know all these black people or all these Mexicans and they're not like that. I know this gay person and he's not like that. So they're not going to have a realistic sense. They're going to just think you're mean. You have to demonize low-class behavior. You have to be intolerant of it, top to bottom, start to finish. So I don't want to beat this into the dirt. Awful, awful situation, but just understand, protecting your loved ones, protecting the women, protecting the children that you know, it starts with sound instruction. You have to demonize low-class behavior. And when people choose the devil, sometimes you got to let them burn. All right, let me know what you think. I'll get back at you on the next one. Peace.